Morning. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our May First Friday event with Campus Compact for Virginia. We're very fortunate today to have a presentation from PeaceJam Mid-Atlantic, part of PeaceJam International. And I want to introduce our presenter today, Michelle Avaroma. And she's going to be speaking with us, and we'll have time for questions at the end.
Greetings, everybody. My name is Michelle Avaroma, and I serve as the PeaceJam Mid-Atlantic Planning Grant Coordinator. I'm very fortunate to have this time to present to all of our friends in Virginia because we have an exciting program that is coming to the region, and we want to get students, faculty, and staff and organizations and wonderful community partners involved at the ground level as we continue to build this program. So PeaceJam is actually an international organization that brings together young people and Nobel Peace Prize winners. And while this program exists all over the globe, it's never existed in the DMV region in an organized affiliate program. And that changed last year because PeaceJam and Campus Compact were awarded a planning grant from the office at the Corporation for National and Community Service to investigate how to best bring this program to serve this unique region. And so with this planning grant, I was hired and brought up to the region. And it's been very interesting to get to know people from this part of the country, the very unique institutions that make up Virginia, Maryland, Delaware, DC, and work with partners on how best to bring this program. Like I said, PeaceJam works to provide students, kindergarten through college, with the mentorship of Nobel laureates. Students study the life and work of 14 Nobel Peace Prize winners through the PeaceJam Curriculum, and they get to really identify as peacemakers, as change makers, and the program really serves to empower youth to work for positive change in themselves, their communities, and the world. It began actually in Colorado in 1986, so we have over 20 years of empowering youth under our belt, and Don and Yvonne were the founders of PeaceJam, and it actually started as a gang violence prevention program. They saw that youth were involved in a lot of gang-related activities in Denver during what was referred to as the Summer of Violence, and they thought an opportunity to bring young people together with Nobel laureates could really inspire the community and these students to create change and to seek out a more peaceful and better world. And so developing the curriculum over the last few years and through this global programming, PeaceJam has really spread to all corners of the world. And PeaceJam utilizes a model around education, inspiration, and action. And so, like I mentioned, students study the life and work of 14 Nobel laureates through a curriculum that is standards-based, developed by professionals and specialists in this area to not only study these laureates, but also these 10 global call to action issues that were identified by the laureates as the most pressing challenges facing our global community. So on your screen, you will actually see these 10 issues. I would take a moment here to look over these issues and perhaps pick one that really matters to you, one that you see as the most important maybe, or one that you see as affecting your community the most, whether it's your campus community or your, residential community or just, the US or the globe. This is an exercise we do often with students who are participating in PeaceJam, and it's really amazing to see how students have an issue or a cause that they're really passionate about, and they can provide very real examples of how this particular issue is affecting them or their friends or their family. And when I've done this exercise with students, most recently at a high school here, they were very aware that providing solutions in one area can help amplify or rectify an issue in another area. And so it's really important for students to understand that all of these issues are interconnected. And so the power of PeaceJam is that they're able to take informed action, because in this curriculum and throughout their participation in PeaceJam, they get to study the life and work of the laureates, look at these issues, and then identify with their class or with their PeaceJam club group an issue that they would like to provide a project for. Because all students participating in PeaceJam create community service projects around a certain issue. And so it's their informed action piece. So like I said, all students study the life and work. They do this in a curriculum that is age appropriate, it's standards based, and they're gaining 21st century skills from their participation in PeaceJam. And of course, this program really serves to create compassionate, informed citizens. And so with successful implementation, youth gain an understanding of their role in society and the power of participation through engaged education. These are the 14 Nobel laureates that PeaceJam works with. My history with the program is that I was a freshman at Florida State University when PeaceJam first came to our Southeast region, and I've been involved the last 11 years with PeaceJam, and it's truly a remarkable thing that I've gotten to know these laureates that have come and attended these PeaceJam youth conferences, and it's a really special interaction that students get to have, that they get to meet these laureates and know who they are. At the schools that I've gone to recently and spoken with students, you ask them who their role models are, and a lot of times they're athletes or people in the entertainment industry. And when they have the opportunity to study these Nobel laureates, they recognize that these are just regular individuals. These are people that saw something wrong in their community and wanted to create change. And they can really identify with these laureates because so many of them come from, whether it's an impoverished background or, working in communities that were very much oppressed. Some of them have seen violence in their own families as a result of some type of racism or hate, but they chose to address those issues with peaceful action, and that really resonates with the young people who are participating in PeaceJam. So, like I said, the PeaceJam curriculum is actually age appropriate, and so we have different curriculum for different age groups, and students kindergarten through college are participating in PeaceJam, and so it's really important that the curriculum is able to integrate into their classes or into what they're learning about in a seamless way, and we're able to do that through the curriculum that was created for juniors, which is ages 5 through 11, or PeaceJam leaders, which is ages 11 to 14, so our middle school students, and then the PeaceJam ambassadors curriculum, which is ages 14 through 18 for high school students. Wonderful. So students who are doing and participating in PeaceJam start, in the fall of their academic year, doing the activities in the curriculum, and then the culminating activity in the spring for 8th grade students through 12th grade students is to attend a PeaceJam youth conference that is held on a university campus. We're currently working to bring this program to this region, so we're currently working to find our host campus to serve as the PeaceJam Mid-Atlantic affiliate host. And so for a weekend, students are able to come to this university campus, and they are split up into what we call family groups. So they're they arrive with their school groups, but they're separated into family groups where they get to interact and get to know students from other schools and other regions. And these family groups are facilitated by college students. So we have had great success building PeaceJam programming that utilizes college students as our mentors and our facilitators. They receive training, preparation for this youth conference, and they get to facilitate these very interesting family groups and the dialogue that occurs in those groups. And students that are participating in the youth conference also do service and workshops with other students. And of course, this PeaceJam Youth Conference is actually hosted by Nobel laureates. So they get to interact for a weekend with a Nobel Peace Prize winner, hear from them, gain inspiration and wisdom from them. But the culminating activity of that weekend is that these students get to present their community service projects to the laureate. It's a really wonderful transformational activity because students really gain this inspiration from the laureates, but they're also gaining inspiration from other students, their peers, because they see the projects that their peers have done in their schools or in their communities. And we have plenty of students that come and say like, oh, we have that problem in our community too. We should implement that project next year. And so there's just a lot of inspiration and mentorship that happens at the youth conference. And of course, having college students as their facilitators, these students get that mentorship from college students, and being on a college campus, they get to really see themselves as future high school graduates and future college graduates as well. It's all about exposure with PeaceJam. And like I said, the action part of PeaceJam is these community service projects. And so they get to really address human and community needs by creating service projects with their classmates. And then, of course, presenting their projects to the Nobel laureate during this youth conference weekend. The laureates come out of that experience so inspired by youth and about this youth-led movement. And so many times I've heard from these Nobel laureates that they're inspired by these young people because they are our future, and they're actually taking action and creating change in their communities. All of these projects are also logged on the billionacts.org site. This was an initiative that was done in partnership with Google, where the Nobel laureates wanted to really quantify how many acts of service and how many projects are being created by PeaceJam students and students from across the globe. They don't necessarily need to be doing PeaceJam, but can be logging their service hours and their service projects on billionacts.org. And so if you're interested in seeing some of these projects, please visit that website, and you'll truly be inspired by the action that these students are taking. These are just some photos from PeaceJam youth conferences. These are students who have arrived at the conference. We have our college student mentors mentoring our high school and middle school students. This was actually a high school from the Keys, from the Florida Keys, who really utilized art as part of their Be the Change program. They wanted to do art that represented all 10 of the global call to action issues and used it as a tool to educate their community around these issues. These are two of our laureates actually engaging with our students at a PeaceJam Youth Conference. At the top, you'll see a nice old man. That's Adolfo Perez Esquivel, a Nobel laureate from Argentina, who is by training a painter and a sculptor. So he worked with students to create a peace mural. You'll see him painting the voice of peace. And then actually here we have Nobel laureate Lema Bowie of Liberia, who was at our PeaceJam Youth Conference in Florida and was hosting a rally on the steps of the Florida Capitol. She was sharing her experience leading a women's peace movement to end the civil war in Liberia. And high school students actually had the opportunity to also share, their experiences and their testimony from the stage. And this student, young lady, was a high school student named Cassidy, who was sharing how inspired she was by Lema and her women's movement, because she felt very, lost and abandoned by the women in her life. She had had a mother that struggled with drug abuse and, kind of walked away from her family. And so Lema hearing this young woman's story, was really moved, and she walked up to her and she said, "My darling, in my culture, we carry our children on our backs to show them that we will always support them, we will always carry them." And she said, "I want you to get on my back." So she got this high school student to get on her back and walk around, so that she knew that she was loved and supported by Lema. And 2 years later, when Lema and her foundation organized Liberia's first PeaceJam conference, she actually remembered this young lady and invited Cassidy to attend the conference in Liberia and flew her out for, an unforgettable experience. And these are, just one of many PeaceJam stories and PeaceJam moments that occur at our conferences, when students have the ability to see these laureates as people, as friends, as mentors, and as fellow peacemakers. So the way that PeaceJam can really integrate into a school or be introduced to a school is through utilizing PeaceJam curriculum in a classroom. So teachers can be trained to facilitate PeaceJam curriculum in their classroom. A lot of times it'll be social studies teachers who want to utilize the curriculum in their civics classes or in their world history classes. This works especially well for elementary school students who maybe are learning about geography. And so in learning about the Dalai Lama, we'll learn about where Tibet is and, the culture and music. But what has also worked really well has been utilizing college students to coach, we call it coaching, coach PeaceJam curriculum to high school or middle school or elementary school extracurricular clubs. So PeaceJam clubs are founded on these high school campuses or on these K-12 campuses, and we actually have pairs of college students who go into a school weekly to facilitate the curriculum, help students with their projects, developing their projects, and it's really a phenomenal way to have a continuum of mentorship and an engagement from college students to high school to middle school to elementary school. That is a method that we would like to employ in this region. We're talking with several universities to found PeaceJam college clubs that will organize and coach in their local K-12 schools. So by doing that, they're really preparing their students to attend these PeaceJam youth conferences, and of course, getting them prepared for the conference also includes having them learn about the laureate that will be hosting the conference, because we want all students that are coming to a PeaceJam youth conference to know the background and a little bit about the project and work of these laureates that they will be spending the weekend with. And like I said, this program is global, so we have affiliates all over the world and PeaceJam's students all over the world that have completed 2.5 million service projects worldwide. So we're really proud that we are helping students see their capacity to create change and to develop projects that are really serving and helping address a need in their communities. And more than 1.2 million students on 6 continents have become change makers through PeaceJam. So we're on 6 continents. If anyone knows anyone that would like to do PeaceJam in Antarctica, let me know. But we're really excited that this program continues to grow, continues to reach out to students all over the globe. These are just some of our affiliates here in the US. We have like I said, programming happening all over the world, in Ghana and Liberia. And so not only is PeaceJam connecting students to their local community, but it really has the capacity to connect them to students across the globe. We've had cases where students, middle school students, were Skype calling and video conferencing with students in Ghana, middle school students in Ghana, and because they're studying the same curriculum, they have an opportunity to have this cultural connection and cultural exchange around these, PeaceJam laureates and around these issues. And so it's a really wonderful opportunity for students to kind of educate across cultural barriers, like the issues that are affecting their communities. And it really expands the mind of our PeaceJam participants because they see that they are connected to students across the globe. So, like I said, there are plenty of ways to utilize the curriculum, plenty of ways to get involved with PeaceJam. And for college students especially, we see so many opportunities for students to get involved in PeaceJam leadership, whether it's coaching and going in and facilitating PeaceJam curriculum weekly and helping develop service projects, or being trained as mentors for the PeaceJam Youth Conference, where they get to facilitate those family groups, facilitate dialogue and discussion across difference. And so on your campuses, there are plenty of opportunities to create PeaceJam university clubs that will not only train students in coaching and mentoring, but also bring these PeaceJam elements to a campus community. And so we've had great success with college campus clubs that work to educate their campus community around these 10 global call to action issues. They host documentary screenings of the documentaries that were produced by PeaceJam about the life and work of these laureates. And then they get to engage their campus with meaningful service as well. And so there are plenty of ways to get involved. I would love to talk to more of you about potentially bringing PeaceJam to your campus, to your community, and really connecting you to the work of these laureates. Additionally to all of this, PeaceJam really has the capacity to connect students, especially college students, to lots of opportunities, whether it's internships in the offices of Nobel laureates across the globe, or even in this region. What we have found, especially in this DC, DMV area, a lot of the U.S. based foundations for these laureates are based here. And so there are lots of opportunities for internships in their offices that we, want to extend to PeaceJam participants, lots of ways to connect and get involved. And so if you see yourself as a PeaceJammer, definitely get in contact. And like I said, if you're doing service already, which we know many of our students are, feel free to check out the billionacts.org site and start logging service and your projects, because it becomes a great portfolio for service projects and for your involvement and engagement in the community if it's all logged there online. So I look forward to speaking with you a little bit more about PeaceJam and, helping bring this program to the region.
Thank you, Michelle. I have a question. Could you just share your information?
Absolutely.
Your contact information with us?
So to get in contact with me, feel free to email me at avaroma, A-V as in Victor, A-R-O-M-A, at ccmidatlantic.org, or call me, 786-303-5679. And, in the event you can't reach me, please feel free to reach out to Tavita. She can definitely forward your email to me. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I have a couple of questions.
Yes.
I'm really, just full disclosure to those who might be watching this, I have been working in some capacity with PeaceJam for almost 20 years. And I have definitely been involved and ran the Southern California chapter of PeaceJam. I can't even begin to tell you, even though I would love to tell you, the impact it has had long-term for campuses and community members and students who have gotten involved with PeaceJam Curriculum and the organization. Michelle, my question is, what have you seen the results of these college and K-12 connections? I know a lot of our campuses in Virginia really want to strengthen those relationships. What do you think the K-12 schools and students gain from the college connections with PeaceJam, and vice versa? What do the colleges gain with those K-12 connections?
Absolutely. So I think that's an excellent question. Probably one of the biggest results that comes out of the K-12 campus college campus partnership really becomes that exposure to higher education and creating a continuum of mentorship and a pipeline for students to see themselves as future college students. If they can be on a campus or engage with college students that are maybe facilitating PeaceJam curriculum for them, they identify as potential college students. It also becomes an excellent recruitment tool for colleges because students want to continue their PeaceJam experience, so they will attend a college that is doing PeaceJam programming or was involved in their PeaceJam club mentorship pipeline because they want to be at a campus that is providing these types of opportunities, providing this programming, and they want to continue their PeaceJam experience. We definitely saw that in Florida, and for Florida State University especially, many students chose to go to this campus because they wanted to continue their PeaceJam experience. And then, for a campus to be involved in their community and providing programming like PeaceJam really connects them to lots of stakeholders in the communities, these students and their families, of course, but also because PeaceJam can be so diverse and so flexible. These students are also helping K-12 students create projects that are maybe working with other organizations or other community partners, which is exposing the university and the campus to other stakeholders in the community and building those relationships. And of course, every town wants to see a campus or a university engaging with their community.
Great, thank you. Another question I have, as I go around Virginia, I mention and talk about PeaceJam, and I have met a number of people who are engaged or have been engaged in the past with PeaceJam and are adults and are so excited about the possibility of it coming to Virginia in a more streamlined and institutional way. Could you talk about, we have one kind of a one-star student I know about in Virginia already. Can you talk a little bit about her involvement in PeaceJam and what she's already doing here in Virginia?
Yeah, so PeaceJam, like I said, has existed all across the globe and has been doing programming in lots of different spaces, sometimes around these issues. And so what Tavita has talked about is there are a lot of not only PeaceJam alumni who maybe did PeaceJam when they were a student in another part of the country and are now living in this area that are truly, passionate about PeaceJam programming and are very excited about the prospect of this program coming to the region. So we have wonderful support from those individuals. But also we have students that are engaging with PeaceJam in a very unique way. And so we have a student actually at GMU, George Mason University, who has been very activated and engaged in the ending of gun violence, especially on her campus. And she has participated at 2 PeaceJam youth summits around gun violence, policy or ending gun violence and creating stronger, safer gun policy. And so this summit was hosted first in Costa Rica, and so she was flown to Costa Rica. And then another summit occurred in Tallahassee, Florida. She was flown to Tallahassee, and she was working in coalition with students from 20 different states around this issue. And so PeaceJam is really not only trying to engage students and introduce them to service and to community involvement and community organizing, but is also trying to support and mentor these students that are already kind of engaged and really working towards a specific cause. And so she had the opportunity to meet with students from all over the region that are also very passionate about this issue, but also got to meet with the Nobel laureate at this youth summit, who are really helping to mentor them and educate them on things that they learned through their organizing process, or really trying to get them to the next level.
Wonderful. Yes. And so she's working, when you say that she's working around gun violence, but she's working around it at like kind of engaging other students and people at George Mason University right now.
Yes.
For the benefit of like not just Virginia, but all, just nationally. Is that
right?
Wonderful. Yes. Thank you so much.
Of course.
I just want to say thank you for participating and giving us this information today. PeaceJam is definitely coming to Virginia, and I'm hoping that many of our member campuses and non-member campuses will be getting involved in wanting to engage in this work, especially because it's a really wonderful platform to connect and do more place-based initiatives between universities, colleges, and the greater community, especially through K-12. So thank you again, Michelle, for joining us today, and I really appreciate your the work that you're doing, and we look forward to working with you more.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Thank you, and we'll follow up in other ways. Thanks. Bye.
Wonderful.